It's always different when you look at a guy emaciated at the weigh-in, and then you look across the ring, and he's a couple of weight classes above where you saw him on the scale.
Well, Sosa doesn't look bad himself.
Right.
His body looks big. He may even be slightly bigger, even though he's slightly shorter than Berchelt, but his upper body looks very full tonight as well.
Sosa's got a 4.5-inch reach advantage compared to the knockout artist Berchelt, who lands a nice long left hook. You'll see a lot of looping shots from Berchelt. You'll see unorthodox shots. You'll see a lot of flaws in his style, but it works for him, Tim.
Absolutely works for him. He's a punching machine. But, you know, he established everything's off his jab, and I'm talking.
There you go. They're talking about Berchelt's jab, and it's funny actually that this fight was on the same night as the Kovalev-Canelo fight. Because I also talk about Kovalev using like a jab as a power punch, really. Ending his combinations with jabs, kind of springing into them, you know? Berchelt does the same thing. Gvozdyk, he does the same thing also. You would think like physicality could get to these type of fighters, right? Movement reliant, jab reliant, you know? But Berchelt, he has a great jab. Great left hand, you know? He also throws great body punches. He's Mexican, I believe, right? Who am I asking anyway? Fuck. Probably the voices in my head. I guess he's Mexican. Somebody said. I'm alone.
Talking about Berchelt here. And then he gets the combinations flying afterwards, after he gets you out of position with that strong jab he has.
I think the same can be said about Sosa.
Who else is tired of Tim Bradley saying, and I'm talking about Berchelt. And I'm talking about this guy. And I'm talking about that guy. Like, he generally is just overexcited, man. I get anxiety listening to Tim Bradley commentate. I like the more nuanced stylings of Andre Ward. You know? Tim Bradley commentates like he fought. Reckless. I've talked about it before, man, but he swagger jacked Teddy Atlas. And I believe Teddy Atlas has mentioned it on his podcast. He's owed some royalties. Copyright strike him, Teddy.
He throws a lot of looping shots. He can be awkward at times, but he has more polish, like you talked about earlier, Tim. He can box. He can come behind the jab. The question is, what kind of fight does he want to fight tonight?
Sosa dipping down like that in front of Berchelt. Wrong thing to do, because Berchelt has the uppercut available for him.
Berchelt gets hit, that's no secret, but he's also extremely accurate with his punches at 37% accuracy. But tonight, what is very accurate is the temperature gauge. The thermometer, 64 degrees. And Berchelt talked about the fact that, you know what, I know what it's like to fight outdoors, but there's also a little breeze here. We're near the ocean.
He's using that jab more conventionally, I would say. When he ends his combinations with jabs, you know? When he's kind of shifting from one foot to the other. The thing is, when they throw that jab, like Kovalev was doing that, and Canelo has great timing, so if you kind of stand your ground and, you know, you're comfortable, you're relaxed with your defense, you're able to catch and shoot, kind of, you can catch them kind of exposed. On that last jab, they put emphasis on that. Actually, Pacquiao uses the same technique, I believe, from a southpaw stance. It's effective when it lands, you know? But when it doesn't, man, I feel like they're kinda out of position. If you think about it, like Jack Dempsey, when he wrote about that punch, you know, the jolt, you would think like of a guy like a Jack Dempsey to hit you with something unconventional, but at the same time be a tad reckless. That's something you would associate with that era, I'd say. I guess there was more room to experiment, but it's still nice to see the technique still exists, you know?
It's a different type of chill here in Carson.
I like the fight that Sosa has fought thus far.
He has also that Trinidad left hook, Berchelt. You know, maybe I'm overdoing it by going that far, but it's something else, you know. Throws that shit on the move. And generally also, he has very good legs. Actually, the style like that Berchelt fights, I believe like Kovalev fought a lot more like that because of his straight punching. Like there's something to be exposed there. I believe like Canelo who mostly was kind of hooking, you know. I know he put him away with a straight right hand, but you hurt him with like a little bit more arcing shots before that, you know. Body work, all that type of stuff. Normally you would say you'd favor the straight punch over the hooks. A straight line is a shorter distance than coming in through the side door, as Teddy Atlas would say. You know, over the duration of the fight, the older fighter kind of exerting a lot of energy. That shit got sloppier, that shit got weaker, lesser, and the hooks were still dangerous, you know what I mean? Also, as an older fighter, man, you probably can't be as dynamic in that style. But Berchelt is a good representation of a prime fighter using that style, you know. Gvozdyk too, there are obviously also other elements to Gvozdyk's style. I believe earlier, when he was with Robert Garcia also, he used much more of a powerful left hook, you know. Actually, it was a weapon then. I think he has a somewhat of a hybrid style, little bit of that Lomachenko stuff with that Kovalev stuff, but all in all, still, man, there's a lack of physicality that can be exploited on the inside, like a Kovalev. I wonder if that's the case with Berchelt, you know. Maybe he's good in that department, you know, because of his heritage. That Mexican blood allows him to not only weather the storm on the inside, but also dish his own pound of flesh out. I'm just like throwing together expressions. Anyway.
The first half of this first round, very patient. He's not loading up like you typically see him. Good right hand right there from Sosa.
Let me talk about Sosa also, man. You know, I liked actually Sosa, man. The first time I've seen him against Nicholas Walters, he got a lot of criticism, or not even criticism. I believe he wasn't given critique necessarily, but the judges were given critique because he got a draw against Nicholas Walters when he was unbeaten, still champion. Nicholas Walters at the time probably beat Sosa, you know. But it was a closer fight than people were giving it credit for. I kind of compared to the Jeff Horn-Pacquiao fight, you know. Also a fight that I actually got a lot closer, or that I could see going a lot closer. I believe I had it 8-4, 7-5 to Pacquiao, but you know, there were close rounds in there, and he was getting physically bullied, and especially early. Horn did have a lot of success, you know, with evasiveness. I don't know why I'm like going off the path right now, but Sosa against Walters, man, he put in a good effort, man. I liked it actually. He was absorbing a lot of body punishment and also was giving his own. Wasn't giving him that much chances when he went against Javier Fortuna. And he beat him, stopped him, Javier Fortuna. Javier Fortuna we've seen even fight, I believe, at 140 against fights like Robert Easter and Adrian Granados and do well, you know. Like, Fortuna is a good fighter, and he was stopped by Sosa, you know. Sosa won a championship, also beat Stephen Mitchell. Is it? No, Stephen Smith, sorry. Yeah, one of the Smith brothers. Anyway, you know, Sosa is a half-decent fighter, man. He lost to Lomachenko, obviously. Took a good whooping in that fight, man. Then I've seen him against Gamboa, a fight that he could have probably won. Gamboa got the decision, but it was an awful fight for Sosa. Sosa looked off. He looked almost shot in that fight, to be honest with you. I don't know. I didn't see him after that. He might have fought after that and gotten a win or something. Maybe Sosa got a win since then. I can't think of it though. Anyway, man. Somehow I'm thinking he's probably not as shot as I remember him in the Gamboa fight. A fight that he also could have won though, you know. It was a strange fight. Like Gamboa was still shaky. His shaky self. Don't get fooled by that Roman Martinez knockout, you know. If he fights like a guy like Tank or whatever, that's gonna end badly, man. Gamboa is... he was overhyped to begin with, and he was always shaky in the chin department, which at this point is even more exaggerated, I'd say, you know. Also, I guess, as talented as Gamboa was, you know, he's somewhat fundamentally flawed, I'd say. There's something off when it comes to balance and shit. Shit that Terence Crawford was beautifully exploiting as the rounds went on. Like, that's pretty much still, I wouldn't say a great win for Terence Crawford, but that's probably still like the most memorable fight of Terence Crawford's career. Which kind of sad. It's been a while. 2014 or some shit like that. Like, that's a long while ago. Anyway.
He's just kind of measuring Berchelt just to see what Berchelt wants to do. He's tasted the power of Berchelt just a little bit. Very controlled, very within himself, and I like what he's doing thus far.
And I also like the right hand he's throwing down to the body on Berchelt. You know, that's what you need to do to slow down a machine, a punching machine like Berchelt. You have to go down to the body, and I like the fact that Sosa's invested in that.
Sosa's trying to make Berchelt think early on as Berchelt lands a nice combination. You can expect to see a lot more of that from both Berchelt and Sosa. They're both trying to establish their game here. They both said, look, it's not going to be who's stronger. It's not going to be who's more offensive. It's going to be whoever is smarter and imposes their game plan that wins this fight.
Right there, you see.
Nice left hook.
Oh, he hurt him with that left hook. Sosa
No,
hurt
he
Berchelt
didn't.
with that left hook. Berchelt stepped back, took it well, but I saw the legs wobble. Just
Tim. Relax, bro.
a tad bit.
Nice right hand there from Jason Sosa. He knows that Berchelt can be hit, lands that left hook once again. But here comes
That was.
Jason Sosa. He knows that Berchelt can be hit, lands that left hook once again.
See,
but
the
here
jab.
comes Berchelt with a short left. And there, the jab of Berchelt that sets up the rest of his offense. Berchelt told me in the locker room, hey, once I get hit for the first time, the rest of his offense.
Imagine Kovalev throwing to the body like that.
Once I get hit for the first time, that's when I'm in a fight, and it's time to get warmed up. Round one is coming to an end here from Carson, California. Comes to Mexican fighters trying to make a name for themselves, and that's exactly what Miguel Berchelt wants to do in his 6th world title defense against Jason Sosa. Both fighters are very active, and you see here that Berchelt threw 10 more, but you see the efficiency with 11 punches landed from the Puerto Rican Sosa.
See, I like what Sosa's doing right now. He's bagging up Berchelt. He knows that Berchelt likes to come forward, and he's not comfortable bagging up and fighting.
That's how Berchelt fights, man. Mobility reliant. Berchelt, that's his style. Look at his right hand, the way it's like tucked to his chin, even while moving and shit, evading, even when throwing. Like, it seems like he's arm punching, but that shit is stiff as fuck. I think that's his power punch, the jab, but I wonder if they can throw a real hook. Like Kovalev, for example, you know what I mean? Like a hook like fucking Canelo throws. Short, get leverage punches off, you know what I mean? Not just rely on heavy-handedness. And punch rhythm and the punch count.
They told us that his team, Sosa's team.
There's a nice combination, and down goes Sosa.
Told us that.
Was that a left hook?
He's not comfortable bagging up and fighting.
They told us that his team, Sosa's team.
He loads up with the right hand to throw a short left hook. Wasn't that backing up though?
Bagging up and fighting.
They told us that his team, Sosa's team.
There's a nice combination.
They told
What
us
hurt
that
him?
His team, Sosa's team.
There's a nice
Been fighting.
I feel like he tripped and then got hit.
His team, Sosa's team.
There's a nice combination.
I don't understand what hit
Told us
him,
that
man.
His team, Sosa's team.
There's a nice combination, and down goes Sosa here in round
Must have been the left hook.
5, 6, 7, 8. Are you good?
Go get him. Jack Reese, man, that's what turned me off to Jack Reese when I first seen him, you know. The thing with the Andre Ward Rodriguez fight. They got in that little scuffle, man. He got in between, got hit, somewhat cuffed, and took the time out, made everybody aware that he got hit, you know what I mean? Suggested fines, I believe, for both fighters. He was making a big spectacle, you know, out of little skirmish. Just think of like Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe in their fights, man. They went at it, and after the bell, threw fucking breaks from the ref and all that, you know. Tyson fights. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but still, like Jack Reese started making it about himself, in my opinion. Alright, you got hit. Like, what the fuck? He needed a second to recover. That's why the fight was halted. You know, Arthur McCanty gets hit in every fight, man. That probably explains some of his behavior. He's another one of those, you know. I'm just saying, Arthur McCanty Jr., he'll be in there, you know what I mean, and get hit and shit. But he's another emotional one. Remember when he threw out the towel when Yuri Foreman, you know, got actually in with a fucking injured knee, re-injured it in the fight against Miguel Cotto. The corner, he was taking a beating in the corner, threw in the towel, you know. Arthur McCanty Jr. throws out the towel. Like, people were already in the ring, like commission, everybody, like journalists, like corner people that are part of the team and shit. Like the ring was filling up. All of a sudden Arthur McCanty's like in a personal discussion with Yuri Foreman. You know what I mean? Do you want to fight? Do you want to fight? Like, what fighter is gonna say I don't, you know? Then he throws like everybody out of the ring. Time in, the fight continues. I believe he went on for a round, got dropped a couple of times more, took unnecessary damage, you know, and the fight was halted. That type of thing, you know. Some refs, man, they're just a little bit over the top, you know. There's an element of trying to make it about themselves. Some of these dudes are straight up fans, man. There's always like something that irks me when I see like refs being overly cordial with the fighters after the fight. You know, that moment when the referee poses the winning fighter for the photographers, like it's his job, you know. That's gross. What did he just say? Go get him, right? I don't say he did anything wrong in that Wilder Fury fight, you know. Gave the guy a chance. I think that was like with the right thing in mind, the decision, you know, to allow him to do that little sidestep that they do after that Abdul Salamov fight, which is alright. I mean, they allowed Deontay Wilder the same thing in the Luis Ortiz fight, right? They do a little brief medical check, man. The ref is going on his instincts there, you know what I mean? On his medical instincts. A little quick check. Are you alright? Can you spell your name? Anyway, I didn't have a problem with that shit, you know what I mean? I remember him stopping that fight on Aaron Martinez when he fought Josecito Lopez. Aaron Martinez gets hit with a sharp left hook on the ropes and turns around all of a sudden, you know? He thought he got hit with a shot to the back of the head. Like, he got rattled, obviously, you know what I mean? Maybe didn't know where he was, whatever. Something happened. Then again, you gotta probably know also the history after that, you know? When he said he hurt his hand or something against Sammy Vasquez Jr. That was a strange night, man. I believe Amir Mansour also quit against Dominic Brazil. And Sergio Muro was calling out Aaron Martinez and Amir Mansour. I believe Amir Mansour, he got his jaw broke. I believe Aaron Martinez, like, something happened with his arm, with his elbow, something. You know what I mean? Sergio Muro was going crazy. Why didn't Sergio Muro fight through his broken ankle against Danny Jacobs? Like, he got dropped so badly, man, his ankle broke. You know what I mean? I don't know what I was talking about. I did so many detours. I did X, Y, and Z tours, you know what I mean?
The difference between that 7th round knockout.
Just give me your glove. 6.
This shit.
7, 8. Are you good? You want to continue? Just give me your gloves. Go get them.
Go get him, huh? Anyway, what did I say? Aaron Martinez turned around. I don't know what he was doing, man. But Jack Reese went in there and stopped the fight on him, you know? After that, the guy turns around, says, what? I'm good. No, I'm good and shit. You abandoned the fight. You turned around and abandoned the fight. Yeah, man, Jack Reese is a character. What I also didn't like is how he handled that Victor Ortiz-Andre Berto fight, you know? The second one. Ortiz, man, he gets dropped heavy by an uppercut. They might as well knock him out. I actually think like Victor Ortiz's chin is too good. There are fighters like that get hurt but not knocked out. It always will seem like they quit or they could fight on or whatever. They just look goofy in there, you know what I mean? Their hands drop like fucking Gerald Washington when he fought Deontay Wilder, you know? Almost drunk, walking away after taking a beating. Sometimes you watch these YouTube videos like there's a street fight. One guy doesn't really want to fight and he's taking like shots to the side of the head while walking away, getting wobbled slowly while taking repeated blows to the side of the head while not really engaging in that fight, you know what I mean? Or like maybe he threw a punch and then thought better of it while taking a beating, you know what I mean? Like, I'm good, you know what I mean? Walking away but still taking shots like to vital points on your skull, you know, putting you out, but slowly. Like the dude that's hitting is probably even younger. You're just like a long, older dude, you know, that doesn't really want to fight, but like a little sturdy dude that's a couple years younger than the long dude. And he's just like slowly knocking him out, you know what I mean? Anyway, that type of thing. That's what I'm thinking of when I see Gerald Washington just like walking away from getting stopped by Deontay Wilder. But it's like walking away when the Titanic is sinking, you know what I mean? Okay. Like also fucking Anthony Joshua is like that kinda. Danny Garcia is not like that because he actually won't even wobble, man. This dude is just hurt all by himself, you know what I mean? Only he knows it. Like the best poker face ever, I guess. Just sturdy. But Victor Ortiz, man, he'll get all goofy, you know what I mean? He wants to hug you and all that type of shit, man, when he gets hurt. He wants to be your best friend, man. Congratulate you. Anyway, Jack Reese, man, he, like, fucking Ortiz gets dropped, right? He gives him a count, he gets up. And he starts exchanging with Berto, and Berto puts like some real good shots, like a right hand, another uppercut. The right hand put him kinda out on the ropes and he slumps kinda over. Reese is giving him a count, man. This dude Ortiz is like, I don't know what he's doing. He's like looking glassy-eyed and all over the place, you know, while like slightly trying to get up, but not really. He's like all over the place. He's like more so getting up out of instinct because he's human, I guess. I don't know. If you're awake, you're getting up, right? It's not like he's sleepy or anything, man. Probably just thinking I'm supposed to be standing, you know what I mean? That type of thing. It's not about fighting or wanting to fight on or whatever. He at that moment thought it's best to stand up, I guess, you know? And he was doing that in slow motion. And Jack Reese was kind of also counting in slow motion, you know? He was giving him every, like at least from 8 to 9, I guess, or 9 to 10. You know, there was a little delay there. Both Ortiz and Reese, they went into the matrix. But Ortiz got up, man, and fucking Jack Reese gave him the chance, I guess. And he said, you just made it. Do you want to continue? Then he asked him that question. Do you want to continue? That's an odd question, man. That's like some Richard Steele, Meldrick Taylor type of shit, you know what I mean? He doesn't know. What are you asking? Like, why don't you ask him to do your taxes, you know what I mean? Motherfucker is not aware of like coherently answering questions. Like these dudes are not even completely aware when they're in the corner, like the trainer is giving them advice and talking to them. They're fucking staring over the trainer's shoulder. Like, ever looked at fucking Pacquiao and Freddie Roach? Even that Pacquiao that got dropped by fucking Marquez, he's looking on the big screen, man. He's looking over Freddie's shoulder, man, watching himself get knocked down by Marquez. You know what I mean? Laughing and looking all disheveled, his hair completely like ruffled. Like somebody ruffled his hair. Like he wasn't all there, you know what I mean? You do goofy shit, I guess, when you hurt like that, man. Anyway, man, like Victor wasn't in the right state of mind to answer that question. Look at me, do you want to continue? And he asked a couple of times, you know? And I think he did that because of the history of Ortiz, you know? By the way, he was also the ref in the Josecito Lopez Ortiz fight. So he was also the ref in a fight in which Ortiz quit because of an injury. So that label was with Ortiz before Jack Reese ever reffed the Ortiz fight. It got underlined, you know what I mean? After Jack Reese was a ref in a Ortiz fight. And now he's again the ref, man. And this guy is getting up at the last second, and I don't want to stop the fight on him necessarily. I want to give him a chance. But at the same time, I'm kind of putting him out there, right? Putting it on him. The dude that just got dropped twice. Dude that's basically like, he probably thinks he's on the red carpet somewhere or something. You know what I mean? For, what, the Avengers? I don't know, man. I sometimes kind of question what Jack Reese does, man. You know? That type of thing. But he probably wants to give the fighter every opportunity, you know what I mean? Doesn't want to necessarily like just rob a fighter of that opportunity. But then again, I gave the example of Aaron Martinez, man, where he just stops the fight. I mean, he gives the guy no chance, you know what I mean? Giving your back to your opponent. I mean, like even Teddy Atlas, as on the commentary said, you probably want to ask the fighter if he wants to continue or not. Why is he turning his back or whatever? Assessing the situation before you make a decision, you know? Don't be too quick with it, I guess, you know. I don't know. Just think of it like fucking what's his name? Let's Get It On. That ref. Like he actually gave fucking Tyson a chance to bite Evander Holyfield's other ear. Like Tyson bit both ears. First he said to the commission guy, he said to him, I'm stopping the fight, I'm disqualifying Tyson because he bit his ear. The commissioner says, do you want to do that? Then he like thinks for a second, the guy, you know what I mean, the ref. So much money on the line, you know, this is a really big fight, man. Went over to Tyson's corner. I'm gonna take points, this and that. You bit him. Like Tyson says something about it was a headbutt or some shit like that. Like he headbutted Evander's ear or some shit. And then Mills Lane says, bullshit. He said bullshit to Tyson. Fucking Tyson's face is priceless, man. It's like, he looks like a child again, you know what I mean? Couldn't get away with that one. Got caught lying. Anyway, fucking Mills Lane, I believe he told him that he's gonna take points, went to Evander's corner, did the same, man. I don't know if that was a wise choice, because like fucking Tyson bites the other ear, the fight gets stopped, he gets disqualified. That shit was inevitable, probably. But he gave them a chance, basically, you know what I mean? That type of thing. So these refs, man, it's a human thing, you know what I mean? There's no real guidelines for that shit, man. Like the fucking count. You know? It's an instincts thing. Stop the fucking fight on Ortiz. Ortiz was too... He didn't give an answer. Didn't happen. You know what I mean? Gave him no choice. Stop the fight. Like Jack Reese did the same thing with Willie Monroe against Triple G. Willie Monroe did the old I'm gonna get up just before you count 9 or whatever, you know what I mean? That type of thing. Malik Rose, Derek Chisora. Some fighters also use that type of shit, you know? Then they can say, I didn't quit. You stopped the fight on me, I got up at 9. It's the ref's fault, man. Like, you know? Remember Andre Durrell? Just making a big fuss in his fucking corner, you know what I mean? Everybody's talking about stopping the fight. He's like, against fucking Uzcategui in the rematch. Like, just own it, man. Like fucking Oscar De La Hoya. Everybody's calling him like a half a fag, you know what I mean? Cross-dressing and all. But this dude actually went like a man. Walked over. Costa Zoo walked over from his corner to the other corner. Like, I'm done. and I'm telling my opponent, I'm congratulating him, you know what I mean? I can respect that shit. I don't know, it was just odd. Also with the backstory of the first fight and shit, you know? If you think about that, maybe that was fake too. You never know with these dudes, man. That Abraham thing, maybe that was fake. Look at the way he fucking stopped the fight. I'm not taking the whooping they're taking, you know what I mean? I can't be mad if they want to quit or whatever. But the way you quit, putting it on somebody else, I don't like that at all. You know? If you're gonna quit, quit, man. I had enough. I always like Graziano Rocchigiani. I don't know, maybe you know, maybe you don't, man. I think all the boxing fans probably know him. Super middleweight, light heavyweight champion. German world champion. He was a rough and tough guy, man, like kind of a bad boy character, you know, back in the day. He actually passed away last year. Similar to what happened to Pernell Whitaker, actually. I mean, he was a pedestrian, I believe. He got hit by a car. But he was a tough dude, always, you know. And in his last fight, I believe, he fought, no, it was his second to last fight. And he was old at the time, like very inactive. But still, like, if you look at him, it was just his gas that kinda he couldn't rely on when he was getting older. But he had pretty good technique. He was an aggressive southpaw. Anyway, he fought Dariusz Michalczewski. You could say actually in his prime. And he made Michalczewski quit. The ref stepped in and Michalczewski was getting whooped all over the place, counter-punched like a motherfucker. And it's no accident that in his corner was also Emmanuel Stewart, you know what I mean? He was a strong fighter at the time. Went to America to get better. And he was a good fighter before that, you know. Fought a close fight against Chris Eubank Jr. in his first really big fight, you know. Lost that fight in Germany. Like Chris Eubank Jr. came to Germany actually, you know. He had also close fights against Henry Maske. You could say he was close to finishing Henry Maske in the first fight. Again, there was some shenanigans going on. He was kind of saved. Was it the first fight or the second fight? Really, all in all, most of the time he was technically... it was just a bad matchup, I guess, for him. Like, Maske was a very technical fighter, man. He could... a guy like Rocchigiani that is more of like a counter puncher from a southpaw perspective, but although aggressive, doesn't have the biggest work rate. So a guy that's technical, I guess, that could make Rocchigiani also keep his hands at home, could get the better of him, you know. And we've seen that even with the Chris Eubank fight, you know. Always had a little bit hard time letting his hands go. Maybe that's something about preparation, who knows. Yeah, but Rocky was a very good fighter. Michalczewski got hit at the break. The ref stepped in somewhat when Michalczewski was getting his ass beat. And he got hit at the break by Rocchigiani. And he put on act and got Rocchigiani disqualified. Like Rocchigiani never had like the promoter push like that Michalczewski, for example, or Henry Maske had in Germany. So that shit stunk, you know, to high heavens. And yeah, he got disqualified for that shit, man. And he kind of got fed up with the sport a little bit, with the way it was working out for him, you know. Also, he, like, because of his character, his personality, you know, he wasn't really loved. He was kind of a rough guy at the time. Maybe that has something to do with like the whole political environment before the fall of the, you know, the wall. Anyway, but he got that rematch a little bit later on, you know. After he had actually also beaten Michael Nunn for Roy Jones Jr.'s title that he vacated, supposedly vacated. After that, there was a dispute about the legitimacy of the title that they fought for, Nunn and Rocchigiani. But Rocchigiani sued and actually got a settlement, and I don't know if he ever was paid that shit. But he won a lawsuit against WBC because I believe they reinstated Roy Jones Jr. after that fight for the vacant title, Rocky against Nunn. An older Nunn, but still like a capable Nunn, you know what I mean? Anyway, Rocky was also older. But, you know, he came back for that Michalczewski rematch, gassed in that fight and was starting to get a beating. I believe he got dropped also. Like, and even in that fight, you can see, like, technically, I'd say, although, like, Miguel Chesky also had improved, I'd say Rocky was still the better fighter for my liking, you know. Better to watch, just classier, I believe. Watch Rocky Gianni actually knocking out Mustafa Hamsho. I believe that was Hamsho's last fight, to be fair, you know what I mean? A rough brawler type, you know, that didn't have an easy run as far as like taking damage and shit, you know what I mean? Those two fights against Hagler, they were definitely career shortening, I'd say. Like a young Rocky Gianni fought old Mustafa Hamsho, but you can actually hear that punch, like in that footage on YouTube. It's such a loud punch, man. Yeah, he flattened him, you know, one punch knockout. And I wouldn't even say that he was that type of puncher. Probably a little bit of both. Mustafa Hamsho being old, Rocky Gianni being young, that type of thing. He was an aggressive southpaw with a knack for counter punching, I'd say. Anyway, yeah, he gassed in that Miguel Chesky fight and got dropped and pretty much stopped in the corner. And when the reporters, the German reporters, asked him, why didn't he continue, you know? He said, I'm full. I mean, that was classic, man. And he said it like so defiantly, you know what I mean? You're not taking the shots in there. I'm taking them. And I'm full. Taking enough, you know what I mean? I'm not hungry anymore. No shame in quitting, man. Just how you handle it, I guess, you know? Roberto Duran got so much flag for fucking quitting. But really, he was pretty open about it. He said I had stomach cramps. Never changed the fucking story, so at the end of the day, man, the guy needs to take a shit, man. Is he gonna shit his pants? Maybe he had shat his pants. You know? And it was still in there, maybe like somewhat entangled in that jockstrap. But you know, if he's gonna put out more effort, he's gonna get hit more to the body. Something that might spill out, man, and he doesn't want to look like your reputation is online, man. A big old shit stain, man. You know what I mean? Fighting your heart out, you know. Really, man. At that point, and that's Sugar Ray Leonard. If Sugar Ray Leonard is literally beating the shit out of you, I think you're justified quitting, you know, or to quit. Your quit is justified. That's a justifiable quit. Man, I've talked about so much shit right now. Let's finish this. Let's hear him again.
7, 8, are you good? You want to continue? Just give me your gloves. Go get him.
The difference between that 7th round knockout.
What about that, man? Go get him, and he shoves the guy back.
And when he lands, he cracks with either the left or the right. And here we see Berchelt, but he cannot get careless against Sosa, who trips there.
That was a shoulder.
Sosa's legs doesn't look good at all. You know, even when he was knocked down the first time, his legs didn't look good. He was trying to get away, angled his body in a bad position, and Berchelt took advantage of it.
Fucking Tim Bradley, man. I don't know. I don't feel him, man. There was always something off about him, man. Remember him, like, talking in the press like he's about to fight Triple G? Like, nobody here has balls. I'm about to step up and fight Triple G. Like, clearly taking that fainted courage, like, as a promotional tool for himself. You know what I mean? Really, like, Triple G is the type of fighter that would have taken that type of fight, you know? Just anything to, I don't know what, fully beat down. You know, and Tim Bradley, like, I remember him, like he had sunglasses on and, like, he was talking all militant and with a straight back, sitting all straight and shit, you know what I mean? Talking about wanting to fight Triple G, how he's a savage and all that, you know what I mean? Timothy Bradley. He's a chameleon, man. There are these type of dudes, man. I remember him, like, with Joel Diaz, like, singing Mexican songs in the gym and shit, you know? Speaking Spanish, like, he actually married a Spanish wife. Or Mexican, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, he adopted, like, another man's Mexican children and everything, you know what I mean? Like, Timothy Bradley became the stepfather of, like, 31-year-old kids. Like, that woman took over, right? Anyway, I'm not gonna get into anything like that, you know? Obviously, she's also ridiculously beautiful But he left his trainer. Then he went with Teddy Atlas, which was an odd choice, you know. But then again, it made sense, man. Both of them were weird. Like both of them are awkward and off-putting, and there are people that like Teddy Atlas, and sometimes I can definitely take something out of the things he says. But then he'll grunt or something like that, or blow like air out of his nose aggressively, and that will destroy anything that he might have said, that anything of fucking note, of wisdom or whatever, you know what I mean, inside. Yeah, man, Timothy Bradley. And then he swagger jacked the dude, man, took his fucking persona over and actually retired, took his job. Really, he took his job, man. Can you believe this shit? Took his job and his fucking personality. This is crazy. The imposter. Also, I've realized he does like church approval size, you know what I mean? Within the boxing match, like I can see where you say like a good body shot and you make that sound and shit. Would make more sense if you're on the receiving end, I guess, but you make that like in excess or to excess. Like Andre Ward, he's just so subtle in everything he does, right? I guess. I never thought of Andre Ward actually that fucking skillful, like people are making him out to be. I guess he does the fundamental things well enough to make him look smooth to a degree, but at the same time he was very rough around the edges. He was always talking about like, I want to start poking off the jab and using my bolos. Like fucking, you're not that, man. You're a rough and rugged guy, like a Tim Brady actually. You guys are actually not that fucking balanced. I wouldn't be surprised if you're not able to dance. Maybe Andre Ward can dance, has some rhythm to him, you know what I mean? But both of them, like, at times, like, look like big feet motherfuckers, man. They're no Floyds, they're no Alis, you know what I mean? They're not Fleetfoot, they're not Cassius Clay. They're not Ray Robinson, man. They're not pretty. They're not Pennell. They got them big feet, man. Anyway. Clumsy motherfuckers. But at least like he has that, you know, that suave swagger that allows him to appear at least like stomachable in public, I guess. Or although that also can kind of like all that buttering you up, you know what I mean, lip licking and that type of shit that you don't necessarily need when it's about boxing, right? That whole like I'm getting red because I'm flat type of shit that he has going on when he talks to Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman, you know what I mean? They're blowing obviously sugar up his Seamus, you know? And he gets all cute and shit with them. You know, I'm not feeling that too much, man, but like all in all, when he's actually talking about some real shit in these press conferences against Sergey Kovalev, although that's also kind of easy prey, you know, Sergey talking all broken English, but at least like in a commentary, he won't like get on my nerves, man. Timothy Bradley, he's like laying it on too thick for my liking. It's just too much. The jab! Teddy is not even doing that, you know what I mean? And I think that kind of also hinders him in his analytical breakdowns, you know what I mean? Andre Ward usually, although he misses also a lot of shit, they didn't even notice that fucking Louis Collazo was fighting with one arm for most of the fight, man. They get so caught up in tapping for master, man. They're a little step in fetchity. Like Andre Ward seems like a guy that's invited to like a senator's dinner or something, and he has to attend with his wife, and his wife is all excited, and really he's thinking like, I hope she doesn't embarrass me, because he can actually, you know, put it on, fit in. Yeah, Tim Bradley is like the guy that actually grew up with white people and is acting black, you know what I mean? He's invited to like a white get-together, and he He's acting black, you know, to entertain. I guess two different mindsets.
Good. He was trying to get away, angled his body in a bad position, and Berchelt took advantage of it.
That was a low blow there from Berchelt.
Sosa's still trying to get his legs under him, but trust me, he's still dangerous. He's looking to land that overhand right and that left hook.
Yeah, you
Don't
see
know if
that.
he'll get the shot chance to do it. But he's
Berchelt, he'll hook though.
Around that glove of
Ooh.
Jason Sosa,
Oh.
lands another left hook, and here comes Sosa, but he's right in range.
Exactly. You cannot be in mid-range.
You know what's funny about Berchelt? Like Kovalev does the same thing. They throw themselves or they punch the opponent into the next punch. You know what I mean? It never ends kinda. You gotta be in condition for that style, I believe. Especially if it's like that high and active a pace. The fucking crowd also gets you into that vibe. Like, we're fighting right now, you know what I mean? This is not just a boxing match. Berchelt is also that type of fighter, you know? He doesn't mind like going the distance. We've seen him do that also. Played kind of safe against Takashi Miura. Big puncher too, you know. But if he hurts you, man, he'll go crazy. And he has hurt Jason Sosa at least a little bit. Stung him, you know what I mean?
With a guy like Berchelt,
Oh,
you have to be all
great
the way
body
in
shot.
or all the way out to get away from his punches. Oh, back right hand from to be all the way in or all the way out to get away from his punches.
Oh, back
Oh,
right hand
yeah.
from Berchelt, who
That was a
follows up
great
with
right hand.
A flurry of punches, and Sosa has to hold on here.
Absolutely.
He's that type of dude also, like one of these tank type fighters as far as like body build, you know what I mean? All white and shit. They're hard to put down really. Or really like, I don't know, man. Like where the legs are really fucked. Something about their height, something about their build keeps them up, you know what I mean? You really gotta beat on them. Hit them on the top of the head and walking onto something and put them out clean, really. You know what I mean? They're not gonna get hit by one punch and fall easy. No Amir Khans. You know, the long neck and everything, man. Like, Sosa is all like short and sturdy. Even Lomachenko, man, he had to beat on him like for round after round after round. That high guard and everything, you know.
The smart thing to do is to hold on right now. But the thing with Sosa is, every time he gets hit, he just wants to fight.
He's in no man's land right now. He's hurt. He doesn't know if he wants to hold, get his legs back, or fight. He's in that weird space right now.
Yeah.
And while he's trying to figure it out, Berchelt is punching to the body and to the head with crushing shots.
Nice little angle right there from Berchelt.
Oh, big combination once again from Berchelt, sends Sosa back. But once again, he just winds up and comes right into short range.
Vicious body shot from Berchelt.
And look at the defense Berchelt put on. Moved his head out of the way, came down with a vicious body shot, left hook to the body of Sosa.
Reese has got to keep a close eye on Sosa. Takes a great shot, but he's taking a lot of punishment right now.
What he do is he needs to tie up. Once you're hurt in there, you gotta tie up the opponent.
It's not in him, Tim. It's not in Sosa to tie up right now.
He's showing the dog, not the cat
body
that Tim
shot.
mentioned he needed to be.
Absolutely, Bernardo.
Oh, he's looking to his corner. He's in
Big
trouble.
second round for Miguel,
Oh.
who closes strong with a nice flurry
Oh, uppercut.
on the face of Jason Sosa.
Oh, good right
A
hand.
ton of heart. Another body shot there from Berchelt.
Like,
Let's
Berchelt is
listen
just
into what we
heavy-handed.
watched in Sosa's corner.
Oof.
Touch the body. The body's not gonna go anyway. At the end of the day, what I told you, if you get hit with a shot, you gotta reset. Reset when you just gotta come back to the ring. You don't. We're smart with the game plan.
Alfredo, poquito más arriba and blow, just a little bit.
Here it is. This is the first knockdown right here. As you see, Sosa's a little off balance, but what does Berchelt do? He follows him out with combinations. He lands something flush right on the chin, and down goes Sosa. Here he is. Nice little right hand, and down he goes. Second knockdown right here. Nice, short, crisp right hand by Berchelt. Right on the chin. Target practice right now at the moment for him. See, the thing about Berchelt is he don't necessarily have to be hitting you. He just lets his hands go, and he understands that something will eventually land.
I mean, his percentage numbers don't lie. He lands at a 37% clip round after round, and he's relentless in his offense, Dre.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about before this fight started is, yeah, Berchelt is flawed. Good right hand from Sosa right there. But that offense is so dynamic. He's throwing so many punches from so many different angles. Opponents can't get off. So that ultimately translates into Berchelt's defense.
But look at the defense of Berchelt right now. You see how he stepped back, got out of range, and then came back with a nice little short combination. He said he's been working on his defense, Trey, and I said that if he wants to be historical and be mentioned among the best pressure fighters of all time, he has to learn defense, and it looks like he
How
is
about
now.
that?
Was
Did
a
you
nice
see that?
left hook to the body.
This dude put his elbow right down. Hey, historical. Shut up. What the fuck is he talking
Of
about?
all time, he has to learn deep historical and be mentioned among the best pressure fighters of all time. He has to learn defense, and it looks like he is now.
Hey, that was a nice left hook to the body from Sosa, who follows up with a long right hand. He knows he's in a dogfight tonight against Berchelt, and he keeps coming forward.
Well, this is a good thing from Sosa. He's starting to press right now.
How about the jab though?
Berchelt
Berchelt.
keeps coming forward.
But this is a good thing from
See
Sosa.
that?
He's starting to press right now because Berchelt, he let go a lot of punches, gave up a lot of energy, so he's trying to rest right now. If you're Sosa, you don't let Berchelt rest. You press the issue like he's doing.
Yeah, but when you press the issue, Dre, I hear what you're saying. You got to go down to the body. You know that.
Well, he just did with that left hook to the body, and that got Berchelt.
Oh, nice uppercut from Jason Sosa, who follows up on Berchelt, who blocks that and comes back with a flurry of three.
See, Bernardo, the problem with Sosa is that when he's at mid-range, he's a target to be hit. He has to smother Berchelt. Once he gets his combination out, he got to either get all the way.
I absolutely agree with Timothy Bradley. I was just thinking that, man, he's like at a range. It's not really favorable for him. That's what I was thinking, man. I was thinking the same thing, man. I think that's probably why fucking Bradley likes the guy. Or he's kind of talking for him and was also kind of down talking. Berchelt, he doesn't have good defense, he's so awkward, this and that. Sosa is more like a Bradley type of fighter, you know what I mean?
Or all the way in, so he's not hit with those combinations from Berchelt.
Sosa does the best he can. He's not a guy with 100 amateur fights. He's got 3 amateur fights, so he doesn't have a lot of the stuff you see some of the guys that do have a lot of amateur fights have. The defensive prowess, you know, the fancy moves, all the stuff we see from the upper echelon guy. But he's effective with what he does. He needs to keep doing what he's doing because this round he's very effective.
A fighter like that, you gotta overwhelm, I guess, you know what I mean? Blind him, overwhelm his anticipation, his senses, you know what I mean? Overload them.
162 rounds coming in, so he's now in his 166th round as a pro. 34 championship rounds completed, so he's learning on the job, even though it's a 10-year career.
Oh, he's learning on the job, all right. He's learning about those punches coming from Berchelt, coming around those guards with those hands straight up in the air. He cannot afford to sit at mid-range against a power puncher like Berchelt.
Mean two-piece from Miguel Berchelt a few seconds ago with both hands.
With Berchelt, it seems like he's got 4 or 5 hands the way he just lets them go.
Ooh, nice right hand right there from
Sosa.
But then he steps back into range, and what does Berchelt do? He follows him out.
For everything Sosa does right, there's an answer from Berchelt.
There he is, going out in a straight line. What did he do? He followed him out.
Sosa going down to the body.
These are some really good, both of them are throwing some shots to the body. I actually think like Jason Sosa is getting hurt more to the body than he's to the head.
In order to keep up,
He got
with the
hit with some
champion,
cuffing,
Berchelt, so we worked
off
with
balance
his strength
shots.
and conditioning coach, basically, to be able
On
to
a
throw
good right
punches
hand also,
and
but
be
I think
there,
the body shots are really,
round after round, and
you know,
Berchelt's
oh.
out-throwing him by 30 over the first 3 rounds. Pretty consistent in terms of the difference per round.
like I wouldn't call neither of these fights really arm punches, man.
77 to 36, that's where the difference comes.
Bernardo, strength and conditioning coaches are good if they're used in the right
Ooh,
way.
good job by
And,
Sosa.
if a fighter doesn't neglect the boxing gym for the strength and conditioning work, but I don't care how many weights you lift, what you do outside of a boxing gym, it does not help your chin. It does not teach you how to get out of the way. That's not going to help Sosa right now, facing a guy like Miguel Berchelt.
He before his last fight, Jason Sosa.
Oh, good
talked
right
about
hand.
Being broke, talked about needing another
Oh.
big strike, and here he gets his chance against the champion.
Oh, that left hand is
But
such
he's
a
having to
problem,
walk
man.
through
Oh, he's
fire
hurt to the
tonight
body. He's
make
hurt to
that
the body,
dream come true.
Sosa.
It's anytime he's in the mid-range and he doesn't do anything at all. Sosa gets hit with combinations coming from Berchelt.
He's
There
a
he
tough
is,
dude, though,
mid-range
man.
with the combinations are flying.
Oh,
Head
those
in,
body shots, man.
Berchelt just mixes it up so well. He's so
Oh.
unorthodox, but those hooks upstairs and downstairs.
I mean,
are
if
punishing.
Kovalev could do
He
that,
can't take this much punishment.
And it looks like
would be
Sosa's
something, you know what I mean?
over the left
But he
eye.
can't. That's actually the way you want to fight, man.
When you get hit with 5 or 6 shots to the head and he finishes you off with a body shot like that,
Look at the short, crispy right hand from Berchelt.
Oh,
Here it is, right over the top.
there is something
Both guys
else, man.
exchanging right
There is
hands
something
right there.
Trinidad-esque at times about him. When he fights like this,
You just see the way that Sosa's walking in. Berchelt goes to the body. And Dre, Berchelt said, I want to prove to you guys that I'm also a good defensive fighter. I'm not just an offensive machine. It's sometimes, like you mentioned, when your offense is your defense, it works.
it's
for
the
you.
body
we're
shots,
seeing
guys.
it right now on full display to the head and to the body. One thing I'm loving about Berchelt is the body work.
Oh my
Everybody
God,
knows
the
body
uppercuts
work.
now.
Opens up, the
Oh, he's
headshot
hurt now.
like that. Now your
He
opponent
just
has
got
to
hurt.
work.
Oh, body shot.
Oh,
Just a brutal beatdown, man.
to a body shot.
And that's Berchelt, man. That's his style. Berchelt fights like this. This is no revelation or anything. Like,
You want to continue? Walk that way and come back to me.
see, that's Jack Reese right there.
Listen.
Did basically everything.
You gotta show me something around stopping this fight.
See.
His fight, for all intents and purposes, looks over. Berchelt
Oh,
just
good right
wants to
hand.
put a
I don't
rib
think
in
like
his
Sosa is
fight.
really
Should
done
be an
done.
impressive victory.
Berchelt needs to go right back down to the body.
Oh, he is.
It only can go one way. Oh my God. With that defense, this is silly.
Sosa
All right,
can
this is
take a
over.
shot, but
This is silly.
his corner and the referee have to look.
He's
They
in
need
that
to say
Lomachenko
that's
zone.
Exactly what we were talking about. The corner needed to look after their fighter.
Man.
He will keep fighting all night long as you let him. And the corner, Raul Rivas did the right thing.
The corner showed the heart. They showed that obviously they wanted to come win,
Right.
but the health of the fighter came before that. I appreciate that.
That was something else. Berchelt is something else, you know.